Fans of Emmerdale were left speechless after Charity Dingle made a confession, with many believing that a romantic reunion is on the cards. ITV soap fans will know that Charity, played by Emma Atkins, is currently in the late stages of pregnancy. While most of the village believe that she is carrying her granddaughter Sarah Sugden's, Katie Hill, child with Jacob Gallagher, Joe Warrenplant, Charity is actually about to give birth to her own child, whom she shares with Ross Barton, Michael Parr, after the pair had a drunken one-night stand last year. Meanwhile, Charity's ex, Kane Jeff Hordley, is facing a turbulent time of his own after he was diagnosed with aggressive, yet localized, prostate cancer earlier this year. For the most part, Kane has had to deal with his diagnosis on his own, as his wife, Moira, Natalie J. Robb, remains in prison for a crime she didn't commit. That's not all, as the village stalwart was also kicked out of his home at Butler's Farm, after Moira reluctantly sold her shares of the farm to Kim Tate. Claire King. There's only a month before Kane's prostate surgery, but he has chosen to ignore the doctor's advice and continue drinking heavily. Charity went to visit Kane at the Wishing Well cottage this week, and quickly realized that he needed a lot more help than he was letting on. Wednesday's, March 25th, episode of Emmerdale, which is now available to stream on ITVX, is entirely dedicated to Kane and Charity. Concerned to see Kane drinking so fast, Charity urged him to look after his health, but, in a fit of rage, Kane threw the whiskey bottle and ended up breaking his father Zach's, Steve Hallowell, tankard. After Charity pushed him, Kane finally admitted that he's failing to keep Moira's old life together whilst she's in prison. In a bid to find any distraction from his worries, Kane then began flirting with Charity, as they reminisced about their relationship. "Back in the day, we were something, weren't we?" Kane said, before telling Charity that he was the best she ever had. Charity quickly replied, "You wish. Yeah, you were good, but I've had better." After being probed by her ex, Charity eventually revealed fond memories of her relationship with Vanessa Woodfield, Michelle Hardwick, which ended 6 years ago. "It was Vanessa, if you must know. She might have a wardrobe full of jumpers, but she definitely knows what she's doing in the sack," she explained. Despite Vanessa star Michelle's assertions that her character wouldn't be getting back together with Charity, lots of Vanity fans believe that Charity's latest confession could be a sign of their reunion. "Vanity 2026 is happening, trust," one person wrote on X, formerly Twitter, with another adding, "The way she didn't even have to think about the fact Vanessa was the best she's ever had. Yeah, I know that's right." A third said, "When a #Emmerdale gonna revisit Vanity? They've revisited every other ex-couple twice or 3 times over. I think it's Vanessa and Charity's time for a second chance. They loved each other so much," with another similarly sharing, "Emmerdale, stop doing this to me. Vanity all aboard." A fifth viewer echoed the sentiment, saying, "My #Vanity heart. God damn it, how on earth are they still not together? No matter what comes out of Charity's mouth, it's always going to be Vanessa at the end of the day. They are wasting their time. For real." The wind howled through the trees surrounding Wishing Well cottage as Charity Dingle stood outside, one hand resting protectively on her growing bump. She hesitated. Inside was Kane Dingle, a man she knew better than anyone, and yet, lately, barely recognized. "Get a grip," she muttered to herself before pushing the door open. The smell hit her instantly. Whiskey. Chapter 2. A Man Falling Apart. Kane sat slumped at the table, a half-empty bottle in front of him. His eyes flickered up as Charity entered. "Well, if it isn't trouble," he muttered. Charity frowned. "You look awful. Cheers." She moved closer, taking in the state of him. The unshaven face, the hollow eyes, the way his hands trembled slightly. "You've been drinking again." Observant as ever, Charity crossed her arms. "You've got surgery in a month, Kane. You're supposed to be taking care of yourself." He laughed bitterly. "What's the point?" Chapter 3. The Breaking Point. Charity's patience snapped. "The point is you've got people who care about you," she shouted. Kane slammed the bottle down. "Like who?" "Moira's locked up. The farm's gone. Everything's falling apart. And I'm supposed to just sit here and what? Be grateful." Before Charity could respond, Kane grabbed the whiskey bottle and hurled it across the room. It smashed against the wall. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Silence followed. Then, a crack. Charity turned to see the broken remains of Zach's tankard on the floor. Something shifted in Kane's expression. Guilt. Pain. Defeat. Chapter 4. Truths Uncovered. "I can't do it," Kane said quietly, his voice breaking. "I can't keep everything together. Not without her." Charity softened, stepping closer. You don't have to do it alone. Kane shook his head. I already am. For a moment, they just stood there, two people bound by history, pain, and something neither of them could quite let go of. Then Kane smirked slightly. Remember us? He said. Back in the day, we were something, weren't we? Charity rolled her eyes. Oh please. I was the best you ever had, he added, leaning back. That did it. Charity laughed. You wish. Chapter 5. A dangerous game. There was something familiar about this banter, this tension. It felt like slipping back in time. Go on then, Kane challenged. If not me, who? Charity hesitated. For a split second, something flickered across her face. Then she said it. Vanessa. Chapter 6. The Confession. The name hung in the air like electricity. Vanessa Woodfield. Kane raised an eyebrow. Vanessa? Charity shrugged, trying to act casual. Yeah, if you must know. He leaned forward, intrigued. Better than me? She smirked. She might have a wardrobe full of jumpers, but she definitely knew what she was doing. Kane let out a low whistle. Well, he said, didn't see that coming. But Charity wasn't laughing anymore. Because the truth was, she meant it. Chapter 7. Memories that never fade. Later that night, Charity lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Vanessa. The memories came flooding back. Quiet moments, laughter. The way Vanessa had looked at her like she was worth something. Like she was enough. Charity swallowed hard. Don't go there, she whispered to herself. But it was too late. Chapter 8. A village divided. By morning, word had spread. It always did. At the Woolpack, whispers filled the air. Did you hear what Charity said? About Vanessa? Do you think they'll get back together? The speculation grew louder, faster, unstoppable. Even Sarah Sugden caught wind of it, her confusion adding another layer to the already complicated situation. Chapter 9. Kane's realization. Back at the cottage, Kane sat alone. Sober now. Thinking. For all his bravado, Charity's words had hit something deep. Not jealousy. Not exactly. But something close. Because no matter what had happened between them, she had moved on. Really moved on. And maybe he never had. Chapter 10. A future uncertain. Charity stood outside the surgery, her hand once again resting on her bump. Her life was a mess. A secret baby. A complicated past. And now, feelings she thought she'd buried. Across the village, Vanessa paused, sensing something she couldn't quite explain. A shift. A possibility. A second chance. Epilogue. The beginning of something? The village of Emmerdale had seen love stories rise and fall. But some never truly ended. And as Charity's confession echoed through the lives of everyone around her, one question remained. Was this just a memory, or the start of something new?